The 1999 edition of the greatest spectacle in racing is just minutes away.
And now just about 10 minutes to the command to start engines. We'll see what drama unfolds in this year's 83rd renewal of the Indy 500. Among the thousands gathered to watch the race today, a very special group of observers. They just took a lap around the track moments ago. 96 Congressional Medal of Honor recipients. Friday, the city of Indianapolis unveiled a beautiful new monument dedicated to the heroic efforts of the Medal of Honor winners. It's the first and only such monument to be found in the country. Time now for the traditional start of the ceremonies at Indianapolis, leading to our national anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we would like everyone to please rise, as Pep Boys Indy Racing League is proud to present a very special performer here to honor America by singing the national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, Grammy Award-winning performer, Ms. Cece Wynans.
Can you see by the dawn's early light was so proudly we hailed at the twilight last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for today's invocation, to be given by the spiritual leader known and respected by all denominations the world over. Ladies and gentlemen, the Reverend Billy Graham.
Shall we pray? Our Father and our God, we thank you that you have spared us and blessed us with life and health to enjoy this day that you have made. We thank you for the men and women whom we remember on this Memorial Day weekend. Especially we thank you for the courage and ability you gave to the recipients of our nation's highest honor, the Congressional Medal of Honor. We remember in reading the scriptures how often sports are mentioned as illustrations of our spiritual lives. We ask your blessing upon this event and all those who participate in it. May each driver and team not only be at the peak of their skill, but may each be at their moral and spiritual best. Give everyone a sense of fair play and good sportsmanship, and protect them from injury. Help them to realize that although earthly rewards are desirable, they are triumphs of the Spirit, which do not always show in the rewards ceremonies today. We ask for spiritual guidance for each of us whether spectator or participant, that we may be better able to discern your will in the days ahead. Give us the wisdom you have promised to those who ask, and the strength you alone can give. We commit this occasion into your hand, and we say Godspeed. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
So the ceremony continuing, a lot of tradition and through the years with the invocation and the flyover and the crowd.
Okay, I just turned it on. I'm in a...
Right now is awaiting
On this Memorial Day weekend,
the playing of taps.
we pause here in a moment of silence to pay homage to those individuals who have given their lives unselfishly and unafraid to make it possible for us to witness as free men and women the world's greatest sporting event. We also pay homage to those men and women who have given their lives unselfishly and without fear to make racing the world's most spectacular spectator sport.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the traditional Back Home Again in Indiana to be performed by a man of tradition here in America, here in the heartland, Mr. Jim Neighbors.
Back home again in Indiana, and it seems that I can see the gleaming candlelight still burning bright through the sycamores for me. The new mown hay its fragrance through the fields I used to roam. When I dream about the moonlight on the Wabash, how I long for my Indiana home.
For 33 drivers, this is the calm before the storm. If there's a collective voice at this moment in time, it sounds like this.
This is the time you definitely have butterflies.
I try to take all the pressure away from what I'm about to do. I try to forget that it's the Indianapolis 500 and it's just 4 corners and 2 long straightaways.
You're thinking about the start of the race, you're anticipating the moves that you're going to make.
I don't realize all the hype going on outside. It's like I'm in a cocoon. This place is so emotional, especially when you see all this crowd.
Indianapolis 500 is why I race, really.
I always think about 3 hours from now I could be in the winner's circle.
If I'm going to hit the wall, what's this going to feel like?
Sometimes dreams turn into nightmares. You know, that's the only bad thing about this.
You think about your family, you think about your children, you think about the people that have helped you get to this point.
When you're sitting there thinking about your mom and dad and your son and daughter sitting in the stands and your wife standing beside your race car and it's your butt strapped in there. I don't know if lonely's the right word. I think, I don't know what the word is, to be quite honest.
To be able to have the good fortune to win this race is something that you never let go of.
The mantra of the auto driver, the automobile racer, they live in a totally different world. And as you look at that spectacular shot, and that's such a famous panorama at Indianapolis, to have been here and watch this race live is something that everybody should experience at least one time. It is unlike anything in sports. 400,000 people, maybe more, gathering at one venue, and coming up, some of the most famous words in sports. A look there at A.J. Foyt, the 4-time winner.
Well, race fans, we've reached that time. Certainly an emotional time for all of us as we prepare for the start of the 83rd running of this event. Now, here to give those famous words is the chairman of the board of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Mrs. Mary Holman George.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
And that collective roar building to a crescendo. Let's go to Jan Beekes.
And Bobby, you have won this race, but now the engines have fired. You're going to call the race today for Robbie. Which is more nerve-wracking?
I can't hear you very well, but I am going to call the race, run the pit today. Yeah.
Bobby, which one makes you more nervous?
A lot easier to do it myself, I promise you. But that's all right. I'm used to doing it, so I should be able to.
All right, let's get to Jerry.
4-time winner A.J. Foyt, an Indy icon. But A.J., you haven't been to victory lane since 1977. With 3 cars entered, will that change today?
Well, I hope so. I think we got a good shot. You know, it's starting to have the brakes fall and everything like that. But I got 3 guys that's won race. They know how to win, and we're going to fight them all the way.
Hey, good luck.
Thank you.
Super Tex, super confident.
It would not be an Indy without an Unser, without a Foyt. The link to the past. The 33 engines are roaring, and let's go upstairs now to Bob Jenkins and Tom Sneva.
Thank you, Al. The cars will be pulling away momentarily. Here's the grid. The first row, Ari Luyendyk looking for his 3rd win in his final race. Row 2, teammates Scott Sharp and Mark Dismore. In the 3rd row, last year's series champion Kenny Brack and current points leader Scott Goodyear. The field's fastest rookie, John Hollinsworth, is in row 4. Row 5 contains Jeff Ward, who led nearly a 4th of the 597, finishing 3rd. The race's defending champion occupies the inside of row 6. In the 7th row, 2 second-time starters and a rookie. The 1996 winner Lazier and former series champ Stewart occupy row number 8. In the 9th row, 15-time starter Roberto Guerrero and the race's 3rd rookie. In row 10, the slowest in the field, Belgium, Wim Eijkmans. And in the final row, one of the most experienced with 15 starts, Raoul Boesel. Dr. Jack Miller's car has not yet rolled from the grid here along the main straightaway. All the other cars, the other 32, are moving and in fact going through turn number 2 right now. But Dr. Jack Miller's car cannot get started, it would appear. They will have to get this car, of course, off the racetrack if it does not fire, but they continue the effort to get it started. They put this inertia starter in the rear of the car. They have done this several times now, but so far have been unable to get the car to fire. Meanwhile, there are the other 32 starters and the pace cars as they now approach turn number 3 at the end of the backstretch. And for the second straight year, Gary Gerald has the honor of being in one of the pace cars. Gary, what's it look like?
You come through turn 3 right now. To see this from a driver's perspective, the sheer magnitude of this crowd, absolutely breathtaking. People on their feet, cheering, waving. You can only imagine what it's like. We're at only 65 miles per hour. Jay Leno will kick it up shortly to 95. Then the field will be up to the 220 mile per hour speeds that they are used to. What are those drivers thinking about as they're going to be involved in a whirlwind of fumes and dust and dirt and unstable air, trying to calm their hearts, trying to find a niche as the newest hero in American motorsports. It's an absolute thrill to be with this elite field as we come to the front straightaway and you look down into that tunnel of hundreds of thousands of people. I'm honored. I love it. Let's go racing at the Indy 500 as we wrap up a century of racing here. Let's go, Ari.
Ari Leyendijk has given us permission to talk with him as he gets set for his final 500, Tom Sneva.
Ari, Tom Sneva here. Your thoughts this close to the start of your last 500?
Yeah, Tom, things are looking pretty good for us here today. It's unbelievable, the crowd, the fans is what makes this place what it is today. And if I look at this crowd today, it just gives me goosebumps.
Well, good luck to you, Ari. All the best. Have a great day.
All right, thanks, Tom.
A wave to the crowd, the final time that he starts the 500. Jan Beekes, drivers are important, but so are crew members.
You're right, Bob, and of course there will be 6 men that will come over the wall today making the pit stops here on pit road. And it's not just going to be a case of these drivers changing tires and fuel. They're also going to want to change the way the car handles, and let me show you why. At the moment, the track temperature is about 117 degrees. That will go all the way up today to about 128. Now, when it does that, the hotter the track is, the more slick it becomes. So when the cars are in here, you change tires, you put in fuel. You also may change those front wings to give you more grip. Bob?
All right, Jan, well, the car of Dr. Jack Miller still has not started. His car still on the straightaway. They're trying to get it off. Here's Jerry Punch.
Bob, the determining factor on how many times a driver will have to visit pit road are fuel calculations and fuel mileage. And these cars hold 35 gallons of methanol. They average 1.8 to 2 miles per gallon. If you do the math, figuring 2.5 miles per lap, they will pit every 27 or 28 laps, or about 7 times during a 500-mile race. However, if the yellows fall just right, there are a handful of teams like this one here, Tice Carlson, who may be able to stretch the field beyond 31 laps and maybe, just maybe, steal a win at Indy. Let's check in with Jan.
Well, we saw that Dr. Jack Miller could not get underway. It turns out the engine is fine. They have plenty of RPM, plenty of power. It just will not go into gear.
Well, a tough break for Tony Stewart's teammate in this race. Let's take a look at the race analysis. They will go 200 laps, 500 miles. The defending champion is Eddie Cheever, starting back in 16th. He has a new power plant under the car this year. And if all goes green, they will need fuel 24 to 27 laps. How about some of the stories? Well, we've already discussed Ari's final 500. Can Eddie Cheever defend his championship? Tony Stewart, Indy cars here today and stock cars tonight. Greg Ray and Robbie Gordon are Team Menards drivers, and A.J. Foyt has 3 drivers in the field: Billy Boat, Kenny Breck, and Robbie Buell. Now we want to familiarize you with the cars and the ones to keep an eye on perhaps in the early part of the race so that you will be able to identify them. Here is Ari Leyendijk as he is on the pole position. Eddie Cheever starts back in the 16th position. Tony Stewart, of course, will be starting 24th here this afternoon. There is Eddie Cheever. Well, Tom, what are your final thoughts?
For these guys, as important as their qualifying speed and starting position, is their comfort level with those on the dance floor in their area. Who's starting beside you, in front, behind, those dancing in your zone. As a driver, you have a mental book on each competitor. Now these guys are all scratch golfers when we talk about driving skills, but when we talk about controlling emotions at the start of the 500, there might be some double-digit handicaps out there.
And we have another car that has come on to the warm-up lane and will be going into the pits. That is Scott Sharp, and you can see a spray coming out the back of the car. The pace car is off the track. I'm not sure that we will be getting a green here. Perhaps we will. The field looks pretty good as it comes out of corner number 4. Looking for the green here to start the 83rd Indianapolis 500. The green is out, and for the 83rd time, they're racing at Indianapolis.